Hello, my name is Patrick, and welcome to British Council's English Tips video. When it comes to writing Task 1 and 2, paraphrasing is an essential skill. But most students incorrectly simply copy the question right into their writing, and this results in a lower score. Are you worried about your paraphrasing skills? Keep watching to learn the top 5 paraphrasing techniques. The most common technique, and maybe the most important, is to find synonyms for the keywords in the question. For this technique, take note of the most important nouns and verbs in the question and see which synonyms might be able to replace them. Let's take a look at some examples. In the first sentence, you might get a question that says, "The diagram below shows the process by which bricks are manufactured for the building industry." Now in this case, you'll need to find some words you can change in order to paraphrase effectively. An example might be, "The diagram illustrates the way bricks are made for the building industry." In the second sentence, you'll notice that we found 3 synonyms for some of the major words in the question, and this helps us paraphrase effectively, and also helps us get a higher score on our writing exam. Another popular way to paraphrase is by simply changing the form of the words in the questions. Now, you may need a good understanding of word families in order to do this effectively, but a common way to do this might be to change nouns to verbs, verbs to nouns, or even adjectives to their nouns. Let's take a look at the following example. The line graph below shows the consumption of 4 kinds of meat in a European country from 1979. Now, in our paraphrased example, we read, "The line graph below shows how one European country consumed 4 kinds of meat from 1979 to 2004. Here you can see that in order to paraphrase effectively, we change the noun consumption to its verb form consumed. Often we can change the grammar structures in the question to paraphrase more effectively. One way to do this is to simply change the active to the passive voice. Take a look at the following example. The real estate developers invested over $40 million USD into the development of a new senior living community. Now let's paraphrase. 40 million USD was invested in the development of a new senior living community. Here you see we changed invested to was invested, active to passive. And again, this is one more way to help us paraphrase more effectively. For all this talk about synonyms, changing grammar structures, or changing the form of the words, sometimes it's easy to simply just change where the words stand in a sentence. Let's take a look at the example. The line graph below shows the consumption of 4 kinds of meat in a European country from 1979 to 2004. Now if we paraphrase by simply changing where the words stand in the sentence, we can get, "The line graph below shows how 4 different kinds of meat were consumed over a 25-year period in one European country." As you can see, not only did I change the order of the words, which had a dramatic effect on how the question was read, but I also changed the main verb from the active to the passive. And this leads us to our final tip. Typically relying on one technique to do your paraphrasing is doable, but can often be a little bit stressful, difficult, and not very effective. For best results, I recommend using 2 or 3 different techniques at the same time. For example, combining synonyms with changing the word order or the grammar structures can have a dramatic effect on your paraphrasing skills. To wrap up, here are the top 5 paraphrasing techniques. We can use synonyms. We can change the word form. We can change the grammar structures from active to passive. We can change the order of the words. And remember, for best results, it's always recommended to use 2 to 3 different techniques at the same time. If you'd like to upgrade your English, come to British Council.